In previous episodes of Growing Big, we've talked about how when we're dealing with small properties, many times that small property, it has a strength. It's a transition property. In other words, the deer are bedding here, they're feeding over there, they're going through our property. It's a bedding area property. They're bedding on our property, but they're predominantly feeding on other properties. Or it may be a feed location. It may be a destination food source type property. When you're really lucky, it's all the above. Today we're going to talk about transition zone properties. As just mentioned, that means that the deer are bedding over on the neighbors and they're feeding on a different neighbor. We just happen to be positioned between the two. What can we do to make the most out of our hunting in that situation? Big one, set up staging plots. Make it so that they waste more time on your property than they otherwise would. We don't care where they are after dark, but if we can get them to burn that last hour in the afternoon, early evening, that first half hour in the morning on our property, now we're in the ball game. So analyze how the deer are traveling through the property and try to set up staging kill plots for them. Next, go ahead and take that movement flow and put it on steroids by making sidewalks, by making blockades. The sidewalk, the deer are going to follow along because it's the easiest path that you can make. All you're doing is making a 28-inch wide trail through the woods. You're hinge cutting the trees on both sides, anywhere from 10 feet out to 20 to 30 feet on either side. Sometimes in real mature woods, you have to go out all the way to 20 yards on both sides to open that canopy, get that sunlight in, and the deer start using it far more often because it's a nice, easy path to follow, and there's all sorts of protective cover around them. Then take it a step further. Where you don't want them to go through, blockade it. Just go ahead and cut a whole bunch of trees and make a fence that they aren't going to go ahead and cross. Does that mean that they'll never cross it? Of course they will. They're going to find weak spots in it. But they will follow our sidewalks that much more. And those sidewalks lead them to our staging plots or through funnels in a safe wind location where we can capitalize on their movement from low impact stands. Now, just because it's predominantly a transition zone property, that doesn't mean that maybe you can't put a little bedding in there as well. It also doesn't mean that you can't add a little bit more food with all this extra browse and get them to feed more on your property. But what it means is that you focus your efforts on taking advantage of what they're actively doing on your property, and that is going from their bedding area on one neighbor's to a primary food source on the other. When they come through, you are going to try to stack the odds as much as you can in your favor of killing that buck when he passes through your property. Growing Big is brought to you by Wildlife Research Center, the gold standard. Reconics, see what you've been missing. Antler King, bigger bucks, healthier deer. Heater Bodysuit, you stay warm or your money back. Food plots for deer, planning your habitat improvements and improving your hunting. Firminator, the best food plot implement on earth. Remington, America's oldest gun maker. Nomad, I hunt, therefore I am. Transition zone properties, just by definition, it means that the deer are bedding on one neighbor, feeding predominantly on another neighbor. You happen to be in between. There are things you can do to increase your odds of killing that buck on a transition zone property. That is, get them to stage there before heading to the food source by putting in little kill plots and dictate their movement to them as much as you can. Know the deer will not always follow the rules, but the more they do, the better your odds are of killing them.